Good morning, everyone. Virgo here. It's June 10th, 2020. Once again, happy, what day is it? Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. Not enough coffee. Okay, so I have a good dose of poetic justice for you guys this morning. Thank you to Teresa for forwarding this information on to me. I think you guys will find this interesting and humorous both. To some extent, although the scenario starts out to be one that's very sad. Two ex-cons came in and stole this soldier's home and refused to leave. Police said there was nothing they could do. A couple of days later, the ex-cons got some unexpected visitors. A soldier from Newport Richey, Florida, said that squatters took over his house while he was stationed in Hawaii for 2 years. And when it came time to move back into his home with his wife, the squatters refused to leave. This is according to The Blaze. Army Specialist Michael Sharkey said that he and his wife hadn't lived in their Florida home in the 2 years that he had been stationed in Hawaii. Upon learning that they could go back to Florida, though, the couple was shocked to discover that two ex-cons had broken into their residence, changed the locks, and were refusing to leave. To make matters worse, Sharkey was told that legally there was nothing he could do to force the squatters out. Police told Sharkey that they could do nothing about the couple, later identified as Julio Ortiz and Fatima Cardoza, since they had established residency during that time period that Sharkey was in Hawaii, so the matter would have to be settled in civil court. Ortiz claimed that he had made a verbal agreement with Sharkey's friend, who was overseeing the Florida home, while the soldier and his wife were out of state. The verbal agreement stipulated that Ortiz and Cardoza could live at the property for free as long as they took care of the necessary repairs on the home. However, both Sharkey and his friend say that those claims are lies. The people that are in the house cannot produce any documentation, lease agreement, anything that they belong in that house, said Sharkey. They are criminals. I am serving my country, and they have more rights to my home than I do. With the police refusing to help the soldier, Sharkey believed he was SOL. Until a group of local bikers took matters into their own hands. The fact that a soldier and his wife had been displaced from their own home by a couple of low-life squatters didn't sit right with the bikers, so they devised the perfect plan. Julio Ortiz has spent a combined 12 years in prison in New Jersey for robbery, carjacking, and selling drugs on school property. Once word got out that he had taken over Sharkey's house, a group of military veteran bikers announced that they would be paying a visit to the home to peacefully make the squatters uncomfortable. This was all it took for Ortiz and his girlfriend to pack up their belongings and leave the home for good. Once they heard the bikers were coming, they ran scared with their tails between their legs, like a couple of cowards. Nothing's more infuriating than a story about a soldier getting the shaft when he's been out risking his life for our country. They deserve nothing but the best. Army Specialist Michael Sharkey spent 2 years away from his home protecting our freedoms and liberties just so a couple of criminal freeloaders could squat in his home. Luckily, these no-nonsense bikers took it upon themselves to make matters right. I'm going to play this little video for you so you can see it. Give me just one moment here.
Soldier who left home to fight for us overseas is now fighting a much different battle, one to reclaim his house, his home, from squatters. Police are saying they can't do anything about it, and neither can the soldier who's stationed 5 time zones away. Our affiliate, WFLA, has the story.
Hey, excuse me, sir. Hi, can we talk to you for a second?
Yes, you can talk. Take the camera down.
When we first found this guy living in a soldier's house without permission, he wasn't happy to see us, threatened us even. Do you have a lease?
There is no lease. There was a contract.
Julio Ortiz describes this contract as a verbal agreement with a friend of the soldier to fix up this Newport Richey home in exchange for living here rent-free. The friend tells us not true. Ortiz just moved in months after their work was done. Ortiz eventually invited us inside to show off that work.
As you can see, look. They didn't have no cabinets. I put stove, I put everything in this house.
I want the people out. They're criminals living in my house.
Specialist Michael Sharkey owns the house. Right now, he's stationed in Hawaii. Last year, it was Afghanistan. His house was supposed to be empty, but Sharkey says Ortiz and his girlfriend Fatima moved in and changed the locks.
I have never spoke to these people in my life.
From Afghanistan, he called the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. His wife flew in from Hawaii on New Year's Eve. She called deputies to help take back their house, but they told her it's a civil matter and they can't make the squatters leave without a formal eviction signed by a judge. Furious, Sharkey reached out to Aid on Your Side.
Because basically what you're telling me is just because they're in the house and they took up residence, they can live there. Okay, so I can go down the street and find an empty house and just kick in the door and start living there, and that's my residence. I don't think that would work.
And what about fixing up the house? Sharkey says that's a lie too. Ortiz was supposed to help his friend, not move in.
She supplied the kitchen cabinets, the countertops, everything that was in the kitchen, all the paint, all the supplies and everything to redo the house and get it livable for somebody to rent it. And these people took advantage of it and just decided to move in.
They're using buckets for water. Without a lease, Ortiz can't get the water company to turn it on. And with the law on his side, he says he'll move out when he's good and ready.
I don't want no problems. I'm like, you can see my jacket. I'm 42 years old. I don't got nothing now, not a ticket.
Well, apparently these squatters do have more than a ticket, according to our affiliate. Ortiz has spent a combined 12 years in prison for robbery, carjacking, and selling drugs on school property. His girlfriend served 2 years on drug charges as well. But we have a much different ending, and it has a lot to do with my next guest. It has everything to do with my next guest. Joining me now is retired U.S. Navy soldier Lauren Price. She's also the founder of Veteran Warriors. Lauren, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Okay, let's begin. You see this story on social media, right?
Yeah, we saw it on Facebook very early.
So what did you do?
In the morning.
You saw this? What did you do? Tell us.
Reached out to the reporter from Channel 8 and just offered our assistance, which is, of course, no cost to the soldier or his family, to do what we could to start the legal process because we have some contacts in our community that could help them with that.
Okay, so have you been able to get the squatters out of the house? If so, how did it happen?
Well, fortunately, because Channel 8 was intense in their pressure publicly on their newscasts and social media, we got this word around literally across the nation, and the squatters moved out the night of that first story. They left their dogs behind. We spent most of yesterday morning getting their dogs out. They did send their friends to come get the dogs. And then we have now power of attorney from the Sharkeys to enter the property, to assess it, secure the property, and start doing what we can to make repairs so that the property is habitable.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. And the shocking thing here, of course, to everyone was that someone just moved into this house and took it over, and police couldn't do anything about it. So how bad did they destroy this house, and will you be able to get it fixed up and livable, you think?
We are confident that this will happen because we have had such an amazing response from our community, veteran support organizations, as well as just civilian contractors are coming forward by the minute, offering their services for free, offering materials. The house was left in, this is a relative term, in good condition considering they were squatters. But there they allowed the dogs to live in the house and utilize 2 bedrooms as bathrooms. So there's a lot of some concerns about contamination, things like that, and we are addressing that with the cleaning company.
Well, Lauren, first of all, we appreciate your service for our country, and we appreciate you stepping forward and spearheading this for the folks who's going to get their house back, and it's a lot to do with you.